Well, good morning and welcome to New Thought Talk. I am the Reverend Steve Walling from the Spiritual Awareness Center located in beautiful downtown Madera, and I'm glad to be with you this Saturday morning. It's going to be a great day. I got a very special guest coming up in the next segment, someone that's near and dear to my heart, and as a matter of fact, he is the reason why I am sitting in this chair today. So stay with me. It's going to be a great show. We're just going to kind of play it casual today. I want to share with you a little bit about my center out in Madera. You know, there is a vast range geographically between probably Porterville South and Modesto North that is filled with people that live a life that they want to have a spiritual connection. But old thought from the old teachings just doesn't seem to resonate with them. You know, they know, they have a sense, there's an urge within them that says, I know there's something more than just this, but that old thought, that old teaching, it doesn't resonate. I can't make a spiritual connection with it. Oftentimes they revert to meditation classes and yoga classes, which are good. I'm not saying that that's not something important, but we have something here in the Central Valley that is perfect for those people that have found that old thought no longer resonates with them, that has a desire to make that connection with their source, with that oneness that we commonly refer to as God or Spirit or Great Spirit or Goddess or many different things. And that is a philosophy that is called New Thought, but in and of itself, New Thought encompasses various other kind of like denominations, if you will. You've got divine science, you have unity, but in particular you have something called religious science or science of mind. And I am the senior minister of the Madera Church of Religious Science. Like I said, we are located in beautiful downtown Madera. We are right across the street from the post office there on D Street, just south of 6th. And we are a church of religious science. And what that means is, back in 1938, when Ernest Holmes wrote the book called The Science of Mind, he looked around at the ancient teachings that have been around since the beginning of humankind, the spiritual teachings that talked about God being a oneness, a unity. He researched and studied various philosophies, including Taoism and Confucianism and the Vedic traditions and Buddhism and Christianity and Islam. He sought out other teachers, gentlemen like Judge Thomas Troward, and Emma Curtis Hopkins, and he combined all that he found into a book that is called The Science of Mind. Now, in 1938, the science was really taking off. Einstein had come up with his theory of relativity. People were amazed at what science was unfolding at that time, and surprisingly or not surprisingly, a lot of the things that Ernest Holmes was discovering in his spiritual journey seemed to kind of dovetail with what science was bringing to the table. Now, this was in 1938. Well, that's ancient age by now. I mean, here we are in the 21st century, and you know, an amazing thing. Today, science is showing us ever more that we are spiritual beings having a physical expression that is called life. If you're interested, you can take some time, and there is a whole new field of brain science it's in its infancy, probably in the last 20 years, with the advent of the functional MRI that allows scientists to look inside the brain as people are experiencing different things, and including this concept of a mystical God experience. And amazingly, what we're beginning to see is our brain, is hardwired for God. There's a fellow by the name of Andrew Newberg. He is out of the Thomas Jefferson Teaching Hospital back in Philadelphia. He has several books out on the research that he has done in conjunction with a couple other people, talking about this concept of God being hardwired in our brain. I got a couple books here. There's a Daniel Gilbert. He is a professor at Harvard, and he wrote a book. His most recent one is called Stumbling on Happiness, and it's how our brain in and of itself can create happiness regardless of what's going on in your life. No matter what the surrounding things that are happening, whether the economy's falling, whether the relationship that you're in just fell apart, whether your boss just sent you packing, that your brain has the ability to create happiness in your life right here, right now. And it was wired this way. And then there's another fellow, and his name is Rick Hanson. He wrote a book called The Buddha's Brain, and he talks about how the mind, which is not the brain, but how the mind can, through our thinking process, can actually rewire, recreate, and remold our brain to create a brain that functions on levels that heretofore mankind never had any idea that we could do, be, or exist at these levels. And yet, in 1938, when Ernest Holmes was writing this book called The Science of Mind, he foreknew some of this stuff. He had a feeling, and he found in the ancient spiritual traditions the understanding that, one, we are not our brain, two, we are not our bodies, that in fact we are spiritual beings having a physical expression that is called life, but that the life of this physical body is not the life of the spiritual being that we truly are. That there is a source, a power, there is something that we call God that is ubiquitous. It's infinite, it is everywhere, there is nowhere that God is not, and that this thing that we call God is available to each and every one of us because we are some part of it as a spiritual being. And being available to us, we can utilize this spiritual presence in creating a life for ourselves when, and this is the big when we begin to realize this. Because although our brain is hardwired for God, it is an urge that is hardwired in us that must be satisfied by the journey that we make in our expression that we call life. We must learn to reconnect with our source. We must learn to find our way back home. And that home is nestled in the love consciousness that is God. And as we do this, and there's, you can go to the bookstores or now Amazon, you find many self-help books. Some of them are secular, some of them are spiritual. But if you read every single one of them, you'll find that there is a common thread that runs through each and every one of them, and that is that there is something within our mind that if we keep it focused on that which we call positive, that there is something on the outside of our mind, our expression, our experience, that will reflect this positivity back to us in our lives. This is exciting, and to share with you, because so many people don't know that this thing that we call science of mind or religious science is a spiritual teaching, practicing philosophy that is available to each and every person. And it teaches how to put these principles into practice in your life so that you can create the kind of life that you were meant to live by the mere fact of your creation. We in the books that I just shared with you, there's other books on hard science research that's out there today that is showing that there is something that is in the prayer process that is a power, a spiritual power that is, years ago, they used to say, the power of prayer is just what we have in our mind. It's just, it's just the power of positive thinking. But there has been some hard research that's come out within the last 2 or 3 years that has begun to show that the power of prayer exists beyond the mere fact that because we think something might happen, it happens. There are just incredible things going on in science today that is showing that the spirituality that is our human expression of life has a connection to a source that is good for us, it works for us, that is available to us. But you got to know how to do it. You got to know how to use it. And in 1938, when Ernest Holmes wrote The Science of Mind, what he was writing was a handbook, if you will, on how to utilize, put into practice these principles so that they can express in your life. and in the life of people around you, so that you can live a life that is filled with joy, peace, harmony, love, and just an incredible oneness with everything around you, that you can up-level the consciousness that you live in, so that as you go through your life from day to day, it's not hoping that today's going to be a better day than yesterday. It's knowing that today is the best day that you've ever had a chance to live, and it's going to get better each and every day. It's an incredible thing, and it's available to you. So on Sundays, if you happen to be somewhere between Porterville and Modesto and you want to travel up or down the 99, I invite you to come to downtown Madera. We are right off of D Street and 6th Street. You can come join us, because in Madera, at the Spiritual Awareness Center, we teach the science of mind. People have been coming to the science of mind for many years, since Ernest Holmes wrote this book. They've been utilizing these principles. They've been putting them into practice. They've been seeing things unfold in their lives, incredible things unfold in their lives. I can share with you that there's someone in my congregation who just this last week shared with the congregation that he'd been scheduled for shoulder surgery, and he'd been working with our prayer group. He came to the prayer group, and now he has been reevaluated by his medical doctor, and he has been told that the surgery is no longer necessary, that he is in his shoulder is in perfect order. And now, for someone that is in elder statesmanhood age, this is a wonderful thing. But we have people, that's one of many stories. We have people that have jobs that they've gotten, love relationships. There's so much that goes on, because there is a presence and a power for good in the universe that is available to you. And stick around. We'll be coming back from our break. We'll be talking more about it. But first, when we come back, you're going to have a chance to meet my guest, someone that's familiar to many of you here in the Central Valley. So we'll see you when we come back.
This segment is brought to you by Mike Briggs Properties. For all of your real estate needs in Fresno and the Valley, call Mike Briggs Properties, located in Fresno's historic Tower District.
Family photos tell your stories. Faces, places, milestones, and moments. You probably meant to preserve those memories. But where are those pictures now? Hiding in boxes or inside the discoloring pages of old albums? Do you own hours of home movies and videotapes that you can't even watch? Slides and negatives that you've saved for all these years and you never get to see? Think of all those precious memories that you've saved from the past to share with the future. Thanks to technology, we're taking more photos than ever, but we're not printing them like we should. Those digital images are held hostage on phones, tablets, and hard drives, leaving them as high-risk targets for accidents and hardware failure. What will happen to all of these images that tell your life story? Cherish those captured memories, not by hiding them, but by safely saving them. Put this overwhelming task on your own agenda or enlist Horn Photo's expertise. Horn Photo provides hands-on help from day one with organizing, scanning, restoring, and duplicating photographs. We can digitize your print and video memories onto DVD for easy viewing and safe, efficient storage. All you need to do is gather your prints, slides, negatives, and videos, then bring them into Horn Photo, where we will care for your cherished memories. In most cases, you can pick up your originals and your DVD within a few days. Once everything is on DVD, it's easy and affordable to order copies of your DVD for your children, siblings, and the rest of your family, so that you can share your memories with everyone. The best part is what can happen once your memories are digitized. We will show you how to transform your pictures into keepsake photo gifts and products you can enjoy for years to come. Don't wait for a disaster to destroy your collection of memories. Take steps to sort, save, and share your life in photos, whether you do it yourself or have Horn Photo help. Stop into Horn Photo and see our full range of solutions for saving and sharing your precious memories.
Watch Tim Thiessen live Wednesdays at 3 p.m. right here on CentralValleyTalk.com and on digital channel 33.2. If you missed the live broadcast, we're on every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. on Comcast Channel 200 and digital channel 43.5. You don't want to miss this.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Well, welcome back to New Thought Talk. I am the Reverend Steve Walling from the beautiful Spiritual Awareness Center located in the incredible downtown area of Madera, California. I'm glad you're back. This is a fun show today for me. I've got a guest here. My guest is the uke master himself, Peter Mordike. Peter had a show here a couple years ago, and he does music for me out in the Spiritual Awareness Center. And he said one day, he said, Reverend Steve, he says, you know, you could come out and do an interview on my show if you'd like. And I said, why not? And the next thing you know, here I am, I've got a show. But not only do I have Peter today, I got somebody even more special than Peter, and this is Rowdy.
Roddy.
Yeah, there we go. The big guy. He is a new member of Peter's family, and he came to join us today. And tell us a little bit about him, Pete.
Well, what happened was I was taking my 3 little dogs for a walk, and all of a sudden I see this huge big black dog sort of following after. I thought, oh no, this doesn't look good. So I kept walking, and I kept trying to lose him, taking different directions. But he kept following, so I turned this way, and he just kept kept in our sight. But I thought I'd lost him. I went home, put my dogs away, and then about half an hour later, I went to the front door, and there he was sitting outside the front door just looking at me. So I said, okay, come on in, I'll give you some water and some food. So I fed him and gave him some food. So he sort of decided he was going to stay for a while. Well, about a week after that, about 2 weeks after that, after I'd grown to really fond of him, I was taking him for a walk, and his real owner found him, drove past in a truck, said, that's my dog. And I interviewed him and talked to him, and it was obvious it was his dog. So I took him to his house, dropped him off, and then I cried. I was really sad. But anyway, about a week later, I get home. I'm all over it now. I get home, and there's Roddy back again. So I said, okay, I'm taking him home. So I took him home again, and then another week went by, and then his owner called me up and says that Roddy had knocked over his 80-year-old mother, and he couldn't keep him. So I thought, no way is Roddy going to the pound. So I went and got him, and now he's back in my family again.
There you go. You know, one of the things that's important that we teach in New Thought Religious Science is something that we call tithing of your time, tithing of your talents, and tithing of your treasure, and you can figure out for yourself what that means. But tithing of time and talent, there's many different ways to do that. And I know for a fact that Peter you have several dogs that you have rescued.
Yeah, I've got 4, including Roddy. So
this here in the Fresno Central Valley area is a very critical issue. And people like Peter that care, that take these animals in, that give them love, they nurture them, and then you end up with new family members.
Yeah.
This is a, in one sense, this is a spiritual journey of sorts. And for all of you out there that have taken the time to share of your heart, to share that love, I say thank you to you also. And Peter, this is an incredible fellow that you got here. So, in honor of that, why don't you get...
he can stay
He can stay there. This is what Peter does for me when he comes out to the Spiritual Awareness Center.
Well, I'm going to sing the song that I wanted to sing today. I was listening to, on the way back from Madera, I'm listening to a channel 88.1, and they had a show called the back of the top 40 or something.
Yeah.
Back 40, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I heard the song by Tex Ritter, and I thought, this is a wonderful song. I don't know why. It touched part of me, and it's a very simple song, and I think I'm going to do it. It's called There's a New Moon Over My Shoulder and an Old Love in My Heart. Yeah. There's a new moon over my shoulder. There's an old love still in my heart. And I know now that I'm older, the words you told me when we had to part. You said that by the next moon you'd be coming back to me. But many moons have passed and still I'm waiting patiently. There's a new moon over my shoulder. It should have been, I remember now that I'm older. But I said, I know now that I'm older. Wouldn't be the first and not the last time that I messed the words up a little bit. There's a new moon over my shoulder. There's an old love still in my heart. I wish that I'd have been bolder. Then we wouldn't have to be so far apart. You said that you would write to me, but not one single line. But still I hope and pray one day that you'll come back, be mine. There's a new moon over my shoulder. There's an old love still in my heart. There's a new moon over my shoulder. There's an old love still in my heart.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Peter.
You know that prayer box that I bought at your
Yeah.
at your it's basically a box, and it has a little pad of things, and what you do is you write
Right.
prayer, a
request.
request. Yeah, you write a request, you put it in. You can't open the box, and you just stick that request in, and it just worked.
Yes, it does.
And I was asking for some pretty impossible stuff. Pretty
Yeah?
impossible stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I want you to stick around for the next segment because I want to talk to you about your journey through New Thought Religious Science. You've been with it for a while. And I know that Peter does have some incredible stories. But I have a story for you. You said that song was sung by Tex Ritter.
Yeah.
I went to school with his son, John.
Oh.
John Ritter.
Yeah.
John Ritter, who's no longer with us. He was the class president of the Hollywood High School graduating class of 1966.
Yeah, there you go.
My goodness, that's a while ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew John only through friends, but there were times that we spent some time together. And he was as nice in person as you saw him in the in the movies and the shows that he did. Very wonderful fellow and a talented actor. But yeah, Tex Ritter, he was one of the old singing cowboys.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But I got to tell you, back in the day, and this is funny because Hollywood, back in the 1930s, Ernest Holmes was very well known through a lot of the Hollywood community. If you remember a woman singer by the name of Peggy Lee.
Oh, I have. I just been listening to her album when I was writing to Reedley and back. I was playing her albums all the time. I loved Peggy Lee.
Peggy Lee was a personal friend to Ernest Holmes, and a story. She was married to a fella. He'd had a heart attack, and she went to Ernest for prayer treatment. And by the time she got to the hospital, now this is back in the 30s, so it's not quite as advanced as it was today, but she got to the hospital and they told her that her husband had died. And she said, absolutely not. He's not dead. I have done my prayer work with Ernest Holmes and my husband is alive. And sure enough, he was alive. They just misdiagnosed him in the hospital. But the power of prayer is such an incredible thing. We have these little prayer boxes that Peter's talking about, and they're not, you can't open them up. You put your prayer request in there and you turn that over to God and you let it go. And there is a presence and a power in the universe that is available to each and every one of us when we realize it. And it will, not surprisingly, it will answer prayer. So I met Peter, gosh, this has been almost 3 years ago now. You were singing at another Science of Mind Center here in Fresno. And but that wasn't your first experience of Science of Mind, was it?
Well, not with that. It was the same group, but it was in a different church, a different relation. And I don't. The funny thing is, a girlfriend I had that I was seeing, got a thing in the mail inviting her to the opening, and she had no idea why she was invited. She didn't know anybody in the group or anything.
Mm-hmm.
and she said she decided to go, and would I go along too? So I went with her, and she asked, it was the Reverend Howard Hamilton, I asked him, are you going to have a music program? And he said, yeah, we want to get, well, why don't you give this guy a listen to? And he came to the coffee shop and listened to me and decided that I was going to be their resident musician for a while. And so then that's how I got into it, and then I started, because I didn't subscribe to any particular religion, but I used to take parts of ones that I found and I liked it, and so I got more involved and I started playing, and that's how I came into it. And then of course you invited me to Madeira, and let me tell you that little community and that little church in Madeira is so comfortable and so welcoming and so friendly. If you were deaf, dumb, and blind, and you walked into that place and sat there, just the vibes alone in that little church would be absolutely so wonderful. I mean, it's really a great feeling in that little church.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And we are not so little anymore, and we're growing. And I'm inviting you, if you hear things that resonate with you throughout this show, and if you caught some of my other shows, if you have a weariness with old thought when it comes to religion, but you have a desire to make a spiritual connection, it's time maybe to connect with new thought. You can do that out in Madeira at the Spiritual Awareness Center. We'll talk more about it. It's time for us to take our next break, and we'll see you when we come back. Thank you.
Family photos tell your stories. Faces, places, milestones, and moments. You probably meant to preserve those memories. But where are those pictures now? Hiding in boxes or inside the discoloring pages of old albums? Do you own hours of home movies and videotapes that you can't even watch? Slides and negatives that you've saved for all these years and you never get to see? Think of all those precious memories that you've saved from the past to share with the future. Thanks to technology, we're taking more photos than ever. But we're not printing them like we should. Those digital images are held hostage on phones, tablets, and hard drives, leaving them as high-risk targets for accidents and hardware failure. What will happen to all of these images that tell your life story? Cherish those captured memories, not by hiding them, but by safely saving them. Put this overwhelming task on your own agenda, or enlist Horn Photo's expertise. Horn Photo provides hands-on help from day one, with organizing, scanning, restoring, and duplicating photographs. We can digitize your print and video memories onto DVD for easy viewing and safe, efficient storage. All you need to do is gather your prints, slides, negatives, and videos, then bring them into Horn Photo, where we will care for your cherished memories. In most cases, you can pick up your originals and your DVD within a few days. Once everything is on DVD, it's easy and affordable to order copies of your DVD for your children, siblings, and the rest of your family, so that you can share your memories with everyone. The best part is what can happen once your memories are digitized. We will show you how to transform your pictures into keepsake photo gifts and products you can enjoy for years to come. Don't wait for a disaster to destroy your collection of memories. Take steps to sort, save, and share your life in photos, whether you do it yourself or have Horn Photo help. Stop into Horn Photo and see our full range of solutions for saving and sharing your precious memories.
Own it all at Onacar, Fresno.
I'm Christopher Bundros. I'm a CPA in Clovis. People come to me who haven't filed their taxes in quite a while, or when they do file their tax returns, they're surprised by how much taxes they owe. Or when tax season comes along, their records are so disorganized they have no idea what their income or expenses are. Call me at 559-765-0313 to arrange a complimentary 30-minute needs assessment. You can also find me on the web at clovisaccounting.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Well, welcome back once again. My name is Reverend Steve Walling. I am with the Spiritual Awareness Center located in beautiful downtown Madera, and we are the heart of religious science, science of mind in the Central Valley, and you are invited to come out and join us on any given Sunday. Our services are at 10:30, and having said that, put in my little plug for the center. I want to go back to my guest, Peter Mordike. Peter, you have shared with me over the period of our friendship and relationship various things that have happened to you and with you as a result of this concept of science of mind, religious science, and putting the principles into practice. Would you share some of this with me?
I'm a little bit flabbergasted. I'm trying to think. You know, I was thinking today that to live an interesting and exciting life, you're going to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a recovery from those mistakes that make it interesting.
Right.
And so no matter what, I mean, if one plays it safe all one's life, and one takes the religious or philosophical beliefs or whatever that are instilled with you when you're young, and you just you hang on to those.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people do. You were talking about that at church. We could, from the moment we're born, we're programmed.
Right.
And fortunately for me, believe it or not, I don't know why it's fortunate, I had a very severe attention deficit disorder. And so throughout my school life, throughout my education, which a normal parent would have taken me out of school and put me in a special education. My father, who was a schoolmaster, had too much pride to have one of his sons in a special education thing. So all my school life, I was always the bottom of the class, had the worst grades, always. No, and I'm not exaggerating, because at this Irish Catholic school that I went to, they would take the guys that scored the highest marks in the exams and put them in the front row, and then as it got so the person, and I was sometimes really relieved that I was second to last, sometimes, but mostly I was the last, and I didn't feel like that I was stupid. But I mean, maybe nobody feels like they're stupid. Even stupid people don't know that they're stupid. But anyway, what the thing was, it made me feel, first of all, I was blessed that my parents didn't have really high expectations from me. So I had a lot of freedom to think my own thoughts and do what I wanted to do. They didn't. I mean, my father, his ambition for me was to get me into a safe government job and not have to worry about me. But like a job, for instance, working on the government-owned railways and tapping the wheels to see if they had a crack in them. You know, that would have been fine for him. But it gave me the freedom to explore my own way and to start thinking about stuff. And when I found myself in England, absolutely homeless with a friend of mine, I was still so indoctrinated with the Catholic Church that I'd have my backpack on my back and my guitar in my hand, and I'd lug it, and I'd go to Mass every Sunday, because I was scared not to, because the way those Irish Christian brothers told me what hell was like, I wasn't going to take the chance. Even if there was only a 1% chance that was true, I wasn't going to take that chance, because I couldn't imagine, for eternity.
Right.
And anyway, but then this friend of mine, who has been a blessing in my life, who was hanging around with me, he was a Scotsman, and he said, oh man, that's just a bunch of crap, man, and eventually, and then I fell in with my oldest brother, who was also a free thinker, and I was lucky enough to stay with him for 2 years in Paris, and so thinking outside the box, and then finding my own way. So basically, I managed to unlearn all the stuff that had been taught to me and start relearning.
That's
it.
important. We do. We get impressed as we grow up. Mom and dad has a belief. Oftentimes they took us to wherever it is that they go to celebrate their belief, and we just accept that that's what is. And then we get out into life, into the world, and we begin to form our own way of thinking, and we begin to question old thought, and we begin to question old dogma. We begin to look around and see this incredible universe, and the beauty
And all the assumptions that are made of the old scriptures. Just I was always thinking, I've studied this, and I'm thinking about the conversation that Jesus had with the two people that were crucified next to him.
Right.
He never specifically said, you are the one. He never excluded the other guy. And he never said that you're going to be with me with the Father, but you not. He never said that.
No.
And we have absolutely no proof that he wasn't talking to both of them.
Right.
And also the fact of the matter is, having found out that the reason why people were crucified by the Romans were for political reasons, for agitations, for being agitated, for being rebels. It wasn't for just crime. For crimes like rape and murder and stuff, they just executed you. But
Right.
for political prisoners, they wanted to make an example,
yeah.
so they crucified them so everybody could see what happens if you go against the Roman Empire.
That's right.
And so these guys on either side, they were also
Political,
rebel, and
yeah.
they knew him.
Yeah.
They knew who he was.
Yeah. Well, he was
Yeah.
he was a rebel rouser in his
that's
day.
exactly the thing.
Yeah.
And so we sort of get guided to think in certain directions, and it's fine to look at the old scriptures, but make up your own mind about them. Don't have to.
And the understanding. And I'm not going to get into this real heavy, but the old scriptures didn't just happen; they evolved.
Yeah.
They evolved over a period of time,
And they still are.
And they still are.
Yeah.
So read with an open mind and understand that there are teachings out there that there are greater truths to be taught besides what is just taught within one book.
Yes.
And when we begin to open ourselves up to teachings from like the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, or Confucius, or Lao Tzu, or some of the the other early masters that taught, including some of the Greeks like Socrates and Plotinus and Plato and stuff. Some of these principles that are timeless. And I always, someone says, well, what do you mean principles that are timeless? And I said about the easiest way to understand a timeless principle is to understand gravity. It's just a principle of what is. Now, you may not want to buy into it. You may say, I don't believe in gravity, but you know what? It really doesn't care.
Well, yes.
Spiritual principles are the same way. The spiritual nature of the universe is the same way. It doesn't care whether I choose to be one religion or another. It doesn't care whether I choose to be agnostic or atheist. It is going to respond in the way it responds. And science, and this is what when I opened the show today, I was sharing about some of the new scientific research that's coming out that's showing that our brain being hardwired for God.
Yes.
Well,
it's very obvious in those little Bushman paintings in the Kalahari, the cave of Kalahari. There is indication that they and every ethnic group every little group that's discovered in the Amazon jungle have their own ideas. The Hopi Indian, the Aborigines, they have their own ideas of what creation is. Somebody made up a story so that they could.
So it works.
Yeah.
But all of them see creation as some kind of a universality.
Yeah.
It's and it's just you watch. It's like the lotus. You watch. As each petal unfolds, more beauty is there to be found, to be observed, and to be experienced. And it's exciting. And you can. I get tongue-tied thinking about it. You can start down this journey, and it's not a journey that requires one to put themselves in a monastery or to cloister themselves away. There are religious science churches just like my church in Madeira, where you can learn, you can take classes. There are books that you can read, and I'll talk more about that in the next segment. But the thing is, when we say that there is a presence in the universe, power and a presence in the universe that's available to you that you can use for good. I spoke about the fellow that had the prayer work done and he doesn't have shoulder surgery. But that, all right, that's a health issue. Somebody had some prayer work done for a house, if I remember right.
Yes.
And a house was manifested. Surprise!
Yes, that's right.
You know, in my life, prayer work has unfolded many different things in many different people at the center, and we've had some incredible things. But until you have had the opportunity to either experience it or to see it unfold for yourself, in today's environment, we get that, oh yeah, right attitude. You know, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. That's just circumstance just happened. It happens, and it doesn't happen infrequently, and it doesn't happen circumstantially. It happens as a direct result of following and putting certain principles into practice in your life, and then watching that unfold in your life. It's incredible.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, I firmly believe that our spiritual growth consists of us striving to know the mind of God.
Mm-hmm.
But once a person believes that they do know the mind of God, then their spiritual growth stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, and it is an ongoing journey. It never stops. I've heard people say, well, yeah, I know God. Well, I don't want to know that you got God up here.
Yeah.
I want to know that you know the experience
Yes.
of God. And there is a difference, through things like deep meditation and prayerful study, and sometimes just being out in the open in the country, or up in the mountains. Here we have such incredible, beautiful mountains and hiking trails and stuff where people can go. But you know what? You can go out in the backyard in the middle of downtown Fresno, and you can have that incredible experience there also.
Absolutely.
You can have it right here in the Tower District
Absolutely.
with a ukulele
Yes,
player.
yeah, that's true. I know it's absolutely true, and believe it or not, having worked in the prison system for 6 years, I saw that there were actually people that could have that experience locked in an 8x10 cell.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it is time for us to move to our last break. So I will see you when we come back. And Peter, I want to thank you for being with me today.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
And it's nice meeting Rowdy.
Yeah. Roddy's gone to sleep. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave him here for a while.
Okay.
This segment is brought to you by Mike Briggs Properties. For all of your real estate needs in Fresno and the Valley, call Mike Briggs Properties, located in Fresno's historic Tower District.
Family photos tell your stories. Faces, places, milestones, and moments. You probably meant to preserve those memories. But where are those pictures now? Hiding in boxes or inside the discoloring pages of old albums? Do you own hours of home movies and videotapes that you can't even watch? Slides and negatives that you've saved for all these years and you never get to see? Think of all those precious memories that you've saved from the past to share with the future. Thanks to technology, we're taking more photos than ever, but we're not printing them like we should. Those digital images are held hostage on phones, tablets, and hard drives, leaving them as high-risk targets for accidents and hardware failure. What will happen to all of these images that tell your life story? Cherish those captured memories, not by hiding them, but by safely saving them. Put this overwhelming task on your own agenda or enlist Horn Photo's expertise. Horn Photo provides hands-on help from day one with organizing, scanning, restoring, and duplicating photographs. We can digitize your print and video memories onto DVD for easy viewing and safe, efficient storage. All you need to do is gather your prints, slides, negatives, and videos, then bring them into Horn Photo, where we will care for your cherished memories. In most cases, you can pick up your originals and your DVD within a few days. Once everything is on DVD, it's easy and affordable to order copies of your DVD for your children, siblings, and the rest of your family, so that you can share your memories with everyone. The best part is what can happen once your memories are digitized. We will show you how to transform your pictures into keepsake photo gifts and products you can enjoy for years to come. Don't wait for a disaster to destroy your collection of memories. Take steps to sort, save, and share your life in photos, whether you do it yourself or have Horn Photo help. Stop into Horn Photo and see our full range of solutions for saving and sharing your precious memories.
Watch Tim Thiessen live Wednesdays at 3 p.m. right here on CentralValleyTalk.com and on digital channel 33.2. If you missed the live broadcast, we're on every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. on Comcast channel 200 and digital channel 43.5. You don't want to miss this.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Well, welcome back to New Thought Talk. I am the Reverend Steve Walling, and I'm going to rush this through because before we close, we're going to get one more song from Peter here, so go for it, my friend.
Let's sing about a wonderful world, the beauty of the earth and the sky, the wonders of the universe, or the taste of a fresh baked pie. Oh, for God's sake, heaven above, let's just sing about love, let's sing about love. Let's sing about the joy we feel in the fondness of a warm embrace, or the twinkle in an old man's eye that can light up a wrinkled face. Oh, for God's sake, heaven above, yeah, let's just sing about love, let's sing about love. Let's sing about love. Well, you don't have to sit and wonder if you're feeling out of place. Your world's not gonna crumble if you put a smile upon your face. Oh, let's sing about peace and forgiveness, so we don't have to live in fear. How about the freedom we cherish? Yeah, something that we hold so dear. Oh, for God's sake, heaven above, yeah, let's just sing about love. Let's sing about love. Let's sing about love. No, you don't have to sit and grumble if you're feeling out of place. Your world's not gonna crumble if you put a smile upon your face. Oh, let's sing about peace and forgiveness, so we don't have to live in fear. How about the freedom we cherish, something that we hold so dear? Oh, for God's sake, heaven above, let's just sing about love, let's sing about love. Let's sing about love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Let's sing about love.
Thank you, Peter.
Oh, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Oh, my
Great
pleasure.
music. Oh, wonderful. Like I said, if it wasn't for Peter giving me the opportunity to come and experience his show and be interviewed, I wouldn't be here today. So I owe Peter a lot, and I owe Peter a big round of thanks for all the music that he has provided for the Spiritual Awareness Center out in Madera. He has been a great addition to our spiritual family, and we have an incredible spiritual family out there that is experiencing on a daily basis these principles that we teach in Science of Mind. And I invite you to consider showing up Sunday morning and getting a feel, if you will, for what we teach and what we experience and how we celebrate out there. And this love consciousness that we have, I think you'll feel very at home, and maybe you'll be inspired to delve into this teaching and putting it in practice in your life, because as you do, well, life's changes in so many wonderful ways. And it has been a blessing for me. It's been a blessing to be able to share and teach this and to watch it unfold in the lives of the people of my congregation. However, you might not be located right here in the Central Valley. Now, if you are, Modesto to Porterville, we're right off the 99 in downtown Madera. It's an easy shot. But if you happen not to be there, there is a place that you can go to online. It's called findacenter.org or .com. It's all one word. And if you go to that webpage, you will find a map of the world. And by just putting your cursor on the country that you happen to be in or the state that you happen to be in, and you click on it, it will open up, and whatever New Thought Center is available in that area, whichever one it is, and they include all of them. They are a non-denominational service for New Thought, so you'll find all the different styles, types, sects of New Thought in and around the areas where you're at. You go there, you click on the one that's geographically nearest to you. You'll find there's generally contact information. There may be a web page there that you can go to and contact those people. Get in touch with them. If they're close enough that you can drive to the center, go to the center, meet with the ministers there, show up for their Sunday celebrations, take classes. My goodness, it's in the classes where you really begin to learn the foundations and the principles and how to put them into practice in your life. It is an incredible journey, like I said. And once you take the time, you start getting into it, you may find a whole new world will open up for you. If you happen to be at a place where you can't geographically get to a center, or maybe physically for one reason or another are unavailable to get to a center, there is another web page that is called newthoughtlibrary.com. And if you go to newthoughtlibrary.com, you will find their listings either by author or by book. And these are all the New Thought pioneers that wrote in the early days of New Thought, from Phineas Quimby to Emma Curtis Hopkins, the Fillmores, who are responsible for the Unity churches, Ernest Holmes, his brother Fenwick, John Bascom, who wrote the original Science of Mind book in 1881. That was like 4 years to 5 years before Ernest Holmes was even born. You will find all sorts of incredible thinkers, writers, James Allen, and he's just incredible New Thought consciousness there. And you can spend your time, your days going through there. And so if you're not at a center that happens to be near you, you can still avail yourself of this incredible philosophy. You know, this philosophy, I talk about it a lot. But keep in mind, this is a practicing philosophy. This is not a philosophy that you go to church on Sunday and then you sit throughout the rest of the week and you go to church next Sunday and everything's fine and dandy. You see, when we believe that when God created us to live a life full of experience. And in order to live a life full of experience, you have to participate to allow that experience to unfold in your life. So again, I'm going to once again extend my invitation to join us out in Madera tomorrow on Sunday morning at 10:30 for our celebration, or any other Sunday that you can make it out there. And also consider that if you have a chance to take these principles, put them into practice in your life, and you see things begin to unfold, and you feel moved, as I mentioned earlier, part of what we teach is this concept of tithing of our times, our talents, and our treasure. There are various ways that you can donate to the center. If you go to our webpage, there is a donation page that is connected to PayPal, and it's a very easy simple process to take you through, and you can help support New Thought Talk. You can help support the Spiritual Awareness Center in Madera. You can help support New Thought consciousness in the world as a whole. And that is an incredible thing that you can do, and you can do it for yourself. I can't tell you the number of people that I have seen who has lives have changed. And here's the thing, my friend. No matter where you're at in your life, no matter where you are, there is the perfect place to start. There's no one that is so far down that they can't start. I get people that, I have people that come in from the mission. They say, Rev Steve, I'm at the mission. I've lost everything. I don't know what I'm going to do, and I don't know that I can do this. And I say, you can do it. You can start right there, and you can take what you have within you, that consciousness that was built in you, that is hardwired into your brain for the divine urge to express itself. And you can learn to put these principles into practice in your life, and you will see your life change from here to infinity and beyond, as Buzz Lightyear says in Toy Story. It really is a true path that we can all follow. You open your heart, you open your mind. I have a poem I like to share with people because this so expresses it. It was written by Ella Wheeler Wilcox, and she's in the New Thought Library, and it goes something like this. It goes, one ship drives east while another drives west, the self-same winds that blow. It is the set of the sails and not the gales that tell us which way to go. Like the winds of the seas are the ways of fate as we travel along through life, 'tis the set of our soul that sets our goal, not the calm and the strife. It's not the news, it's not the world outside. It's the set of our soul, the set of our mind. And science today is showing us that our brain is one up on helping us and helping us create our lives in happiness, in joy, in peace, and in harmony. So as I close out today, as I do every week, I want to share my prayer with you and know, may the light of God surround you. May the love of God enfold you. May the power of God protect you and the presence of God watch over you. Because truly, wherever you are, my friends, God is and all is well. Blessings, go forth, make it a great week, and I'll see you when I come back.
CentralValleyTalk.com